Okay, this is my story called Kohkum's Royal Bannock. I wrote it, Wilfred Burton. It's illustrated by Holly Pichette, and it's translated into the Michif language by Irma Klein and Larry Fayant. Kohkum, we've got mail, shouted Xavier. There was always excitement when they got mail. If there were flyers, Kohkum sat and pointed out things on sale. If there was a check, Xavier knew they'd go shopping and he'd get a treat. But this time it was different. It's from the Lieutenant Governor of Saskatchewan, read Xavier. What do they want from this old Michif woman? Asked Kohkum. Xavier tore open the letter. They want you to make your famous bannock and jam for the Queen. She's coming tomorrow. Wah, wah, screeched Kohkum. I have lots of jam, but how many bannocks to bake? She muttered. There's the Queen, her driver, the Lieutenant Governor, his assistant, the mayor, and his helper. That's 6 people, so I'll make one big Red River cartwheel bannock. So off Kohkum and Xavier went to the store and Kohkum's old red Ford. They bought flour, baking powder, and shortening. I'll bake the bannock in the morning so it is fresh, said Kohkum. Let's get a good sleep. The next morning, Kohkum and Xavier got up before the birds. My boy, I think we forgot to read the rest of the letter. Xavier turned the letter over. Take the bannock to City Hall before 3 o'clock, he paused. And there are 300 guests joining the Queen. Wah, wah, screeched Kohkum. Let's get busy. How many bannocks do I make for 300 people? Well, each bannock is cut into 10 pieces. 300 people divided by 10 is 30 bannocks, replied Xavier. 2 pieces for everyone. That's 600 divided by 10. How many is that? 60 bannocks. But everyone will want to take some home, and that's 900 pieces divided by 10. How many is that? 90 bannocks. Wah, wah. How will I ever bake 90 bannocks by 1 o'clock? At the store again, they scrambled down the aisles, gathering flour, baking powder, and shortening until the groceries almost reached the ceiling. They went through the checkout, then out to the old red Ford. It's not going to fit, said Xavier. It has to. So they stacked the flour in the back seat and trunk, the shortening in the passenger seat, and stuffed the baking powder into every nook. Xavier, you'll have to ride on the top. Here's my cell phone, my boy. Call your aunties and tell them to come immediately. Shemak! So off they sped home to make 90 bannocks. And by the time Kohkum and Xavier arrived, all the aunties were there, and they burst into action. Kohkum dragged out her biggest bowls, spoons, and baking pans. Everyone pitched in. One auntie measured the flour, another measured the baking powder, a third added the salt, and another the shortening. And then the next auntie mixed while the last auntie poured in water. Don't mix it too much, reminded Kohkum. It will make the bannock hard as rock. And when the bowl was finally passed to Kohkum, she added the secret ingredient. Soon out came the first 3 golden bannocks. Nito nikweesh, perfect. They have to rest and cool slowly, explained Kohkum. We'll slice them when we get to City Hall. Now what keweo, urged Kohkum. We have 87 more bannocks to make. And when all the bannocks were baked, Kohkum clapped her hands. Bon ouvrage! Now let's load them up. But they're not going to fit, said Xavier. They must, groaned Kohkum. So the auntie stood in line and gingerly passed the delectable bannocks to Kohkum, who carefully placed them in the back seat, the front seat, and the trunk. The bannock couldn't fit inside the car, so she stacked it on the roof. It piled so high, it almost reached the sky. "Let's go!" shouted Kohkum. They got to City Hall without a minute to spare. The aunties in line handed each bannock from one to the other carefully. Then they passed the jam. The aunties, Xavier and Kohkum, cut all the bannocks perfectly. Then they stacked each piece on a tray and scooped all the jam into crystal bowls. "Now it's ready for the Queen," announced Kohkum. Xavier peeked in to watch the Queen and her entourage enter with the Lieutenant Governor. After everyone sat down, white-gloved waiters poured tea from swan-neck porcelain teapots. Next, heaping trays of bannock and crystal bowls of rhubarb strawberry jam were served. The Queen looked at the bannock and said in her most musical British accent, "What might this be?" Xavier, Kohkum, and the aunties held their breath. The Lieutenant Governor replied, "It's the famous bannock and jam you requested." The Queen prepared a piece for herself and took a bite. "Oh, absolutely scrummy." The Queen took another piece. "Oh, so scrummy," she repeated. Soon all the guests were slathering jam on their bannock and commenting, "So scrummy." The Queen stood. "I'm just gobsmacked. A morsel of deliciousness. Where is the person who made this scrummy bannock and jam?" The Lieutenant Governor escorted Kohkum out. "May I present Kohkum? This bannock and jam is so scrummy. I must have the recipes for my cooks. It is the most delectable food I have ever tasted," declared the Queen. Kohkum didn't know what to say. The aunties didn't know what to say. But Xavier did. "My Kohkum will send you the recipes, Mrs. Queen," said Xavier. "Isn't he brilliant?" giggled the Queen. "Now let's give Kohkum 3 cheers. Hip hip hurrah!" And everyone joined in. Hip hip hurrah! Hip hip hurrah! And that's the end of the story.